Hey, what's going on? It's Rochelle the Prophet. If you came across this video, this reading is for you. And this is a very interesting topic. So it is a pick a pal, pick a card, pick an image video. And the topic is, what does your childhood self love? I hear reminisce already. They're already down with the downloads. So your childhood self might have been like a little bit anxious of a person, or just like very fast talker for some of you. Okay, but yeah, so the topic is, what does your childhood self love about your current self? Okay, so this is going to be a really good sensual topic. We're gonna get deep, hopefully, for some of you. So yeah, thank you so much for messing with my channel per usual. You know, I love and mess with y'all the longest way. All right, obviously this is going to be available on Patreon for now because I've been blocked on YouTube for a week. So that being said, we have 3 pals here, and pal 1 is from like this cartoon movie. I'm not sure. I think it's called Princess something. It's like from some cartoon movie. It's like a woman with blonde hair, and then like in her reflection is a unicorn. And then pal 2 is a picture of like a little mini TV. It looks like a child's room. It's like white and pink, very pretty. It's like a mini TV and like Hello Kitty things around it. Like Hello Kitty, like little trinkets, I think, around it, and other things. And then pal 3, what was pal 3? Yeah, it's is it Sailor Moon? I'm not sure what. I don't watch that anime, but it's like it's probably not Sailor Moon, but it's like a picture of like an anime cartoon character. All right, so that is what we got as far as our options for the pals. You could choose 1 pal, 2 pals, all 3, does not matter. Take what's for you and leave what is not, and will be good. If you are a returning subscriber, hey friend, you know I love y'all and mess with y'all the longest way. If you're new here, welcome. I hope these messages resonate for you. If you find that they do, check out my other videos. Those may resonate as well. Okay, so that being said, I will see y'all in y'all section. Bye. Hi pal 1, if you chose this photo right here, this section of the video is for you. All right, and we want to know, what does pal 1's childhood self love about their current self the most? Okay, so I summon pal 1's childhood self. Ooh, your childhood self loves how protective you are over yourself now. Okay, back in the day, you could have been very much more vulnerable to your environment, to more harmful things around you. Now you don't play. All right, like now, like you do not play about yourself. Okay, you are willing to cut anyone down with your words. You're willing to physically fight. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know if like for some of y'all, people could have like had access to you physically that you did not like you could have gotten beaten, or could have gotten whoopings or something. Not to trigger anyone, I'm gonna have trigger warning for this video because we could get pretty deep, but things could have happened to you that you could not control. A lot of things were out of your control because you were a vulnerable child, and now it's like you're like, no. Okay, like now, like you are super protective over yourself. I feel like a lot of these things, like you don't even realize how much, like from like your childhood perspective, like you're I'm just seeing like the child version of you, like eyes just go so big like saucers, and just glowing, like looking at you with amazement and how proud they are of you. Like, wow, like I can't believe I grew up to be someone who truly protects myself like that. Like, you know, as a child, like you could have always wanted to do the things that you do now, and as far as like the protective measures that you take with yourself, but you never had the means to do that. And now that you have the means, it's like just second nature, and they love that. Okay, so what they love so much about you, okay, so yeah, it's something about like how you deal with devastation. Yeah, this has a lot to do with control. So I feel like you were very defenseless as a child, but not only that, but also like the way that you dealt with things, like things would destroy you mentally and emotionally. Like you Obviously not to blame a child for being a child, but as a child, like, you could have really taken things harshly. And like when it was bad, it was horrible. So it's like now, like, you really know how to pick yourself up, and you really have like really good conflict resolution skills now as an adult. And that is something that your childhood self truly admires. Like that, like, they don't, like, you don't have to fear things going bad, because you know how to handle bad situations, and you're not fearful of it. You're not scared, or you don't allow that to stop you from living your life. And your childhood self really admires that trait about you. This is like a lot about like inner strength, that your childhood self really admires. Like, they love how like you don't dwell on things. As a child, you even probably like well into like your teenage years, you could have been very, at your adolescence, just as growing, like when you were literally just developing, you could have just been really sad. Like for Pal One, like y'all could have really gone through a lot of bad things as a child, and they love how you've really gotten over it. Like there's a lot of things as a child that you probably didn't think that you would get over. That is something that you probably thought you would always carry with you, but you've done yourself great justice by still allowing yourself to be happy and find joy and find blessings and optimism in your life, and not like holding on to like being victimized, and giving yourself like that room and space to be more than what you've experienced. Your childhood self loves how wise you are now and how much information you have now on life, and they love how like you work on yourself to become better. Like there's a lot of like little small things that you probably just don't notice, that you have the ability to do now that your childhood self didn't think was possible. Okay, like it's like the little things that matter. It's like your childhood self is really paying attention a lot to like the details here. Okay, what does Pal One's childhood self, yeah, they love your brains. If you're educated, they love that. Like they just feel like you're so smart. You have so much like brain power, and they also like the money, honey. Okay, like if you be getting to that bag, if you've overcome poverty, if you started from the bottom, your childhood self loves that. Like you have truly cultivated so much wealth, so much material wealth for you, where you could get up and buy whatever you want, you could dress however you want, and yeah, and it's also something else, like the way that you dress, your childhood self loves that. Like there was always like this passion for fashion that your childhood self could have had, but never really got to express due to like not having the means, not having the money financially, not having like adults in their life to that like cared about them enough to even like cater to that side of their personality. And now like you are able to like to throw something on and really feel good about yourself, about what you're wearing. Like it's deeper than just something that is superficial or materialistic for you. Like this is something that really heals you emotionally, like really like lets you, like, you know, when you look good you feel good. And that is like your childhood self like looking at you, like they love the way that you dress. They feel like you really embody like what they've always wanted. Like they love like what you do with your hair. They love like how it's kind of like effortless for you. You probably don't even put that much thought into it, but like from their perspective, they just see you as like gold. It's something about gold. It's something about like they just feel like you are just so luxurious, like you're so classy, or you have truly reached like a height that your childhood self used to fantasize about. Like when it comes to how you physically look, like how you physically carry yourself, the way that you put care and effort into yourself, into like the management, maybe like skincare, the way you do your hair, the way like they love that. Okay, especially if like you're a girl, if you're a female, like, you know, growing up poor, if you grew up poor, it's like you didn't have the means to really be feminine as you wanted it to be, like to wear makeup and to possibly wear jewelry, or to have like certain things about you that really express like your nature and your femininity and things like that. And I feel like you live a very delicate life. Like you keep like your area very clean. You keep yourself very clean. Like you can take as many showers as you want. Okay, that's obviously for some of y'all. Like, you know, some people are like, I always take showers. You know, it's like, yeah, you know. But it's like, you're the little girl in you, like, really loves how feminine you are now. And they just, you're like a dream. Like, they never would have thought that they would have really been able to express themselves that way. And you are literally someone that they look up to. Like, if you ever remember, like, being a child and, like, looking up to, like, super, like, girly girl or, like, feminine people, or just people, like, as an adult, and you thought, like, man, like, they're so pretty, or they're so this or so that, like, you are the person that now you are literally the person that your childhood self would admire. Like, your childhood self loves how you carry yourself. They love how you wear things that are so flattering to your body, how you're not afraid to show your figure. They also love, like, if you work out, if you work on yourself physically, they love that too. They just, like, they can't believe it. It's a lot of things to your life that they are really excited about and really happy. They're really happy for you. Like, your childhood self is like your biggest fan. Okay, like, oh, I don't want to cry. Like, I have a feeling I'm gonna cry in every pal, because this is such, like, a deep topic. Like, this topic is just so important for people to know and understand. You know, like, it's just so beautiful. Like, your childhood self is seriously a big fan of yours, and it's like your greatest admirer, and they love what you've done with yourself. They love, like, every time you paint your nails, every time you get your nails done, every time you get your toes done, every time you do your hair, every time you do your makeup, every time you do your skincare, every time you give to yourself in that way, understand that you are healing your inner child. Okay, it means so much more than just to be vain or be materialistic or something like that. Like, when you take care of yourself, when you clean up your house, when you clean up, like, you are truly giving yourself a status that you were neglected of as a child, as an adolescent, that you did not get to grow up around cleanliness, or you did not get to grow up around certain things. And it's like the littlest things is like the biggest luxury to your childhood self. Okay, so that is what I got for you, pal one. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I truly hope that resonated for y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Hi, pal two. If you chose this photo right here, this section of the video is for you. And we want to know, I summoned thee, we want to know, what does pal 2's childhood self, younger self, admire and love about their current self? I hear get up and go. So your childhood self loves your stability. They love that you have the ability to just get up and go wherever you want to, do whatever you want. Like, if you want to go get some Sonic ice cream, that's what you're gonna go do in the middle of the night, and there's no one to tell you that you can't do it. Okay, if you want to cut someone off, okay, so I feel like for some of y'all could have cut off some very pivotal family members, some very, like, important family, like grandma. Okay, like, this is like great aunties who probably helped raise you, you know, mothers, fathers. Like, you could have cut off, like, a lot of problematic people in your life who did not really cater to who you are developed to be today. You have truly been able to separate yourself from things that you want no part of. Okay, you have been successful in doing that, and your childhood self would wish that they were able to separate themselves from certain people, and you have been able to do that. So your childhood self love that. They're like, what, you cut auntie off, you cut mama off, you cut, like, what? Like, people that they never, like, would have imagined that they could separate themselves from, because your childhood self was under the impression that they had to be around these people, they had to respect these people, they had to respect their elders, they had to be whoever these people wanted them to be. And your adult self was like, hell no, I'm not going to live within the means of your approval. Okay, like, you're just, like, so serious about that. You're not afraid to tell somebody to back off. You're not afraid. I feel like this is very verbal. Like, you could have had to bite your tongue a lot, or you could have, like, gotten popped in the mouth for saying certain things as a child, and now you get to say whatever you want to say. Now you get to do whatever you want to do. And who's going to check you? Who's going to beat you for it? No one, okay? Because you're grown, all right? So your childhood self admires that the most. They love how, like, you say whatever you want to say. You super feisty with it. You could have always, like, had, like, this little oomph to you, had, like, a little attitude to you, like, not in, like, a negative way, but, you know, you could have always, like, wanted to speak your mind. And you could be like a writer. You could be someone who talks a lot for work in general, and someone who has really no limitations on what you're able to say. And maybe you say the first thing that comes to your mind, and you're not afraid of what anybody will do, you know, to you, because you're able to do that. You could be an influencer who speaks up, like you speak up for yourself now, and you don't care. And even if you don't necessarily, like, you go no contact with your elders and your family, or you probably still talk to your family members or your mother or your father or whatever, but it's like there's like a level of respect, because it's like you get to say whatever you want to say to them now, and you get to speak your mind, and it's like no one's going to check you for it. Okay, it's like you grown now, you know, like what can they do besides just be mad, you know? So your childhood self, like, that's something that's so funny. That's something that they really love. They love that how you can say whatever you want to say now. Okay. All right, so what does Paltu's childhood self admire the most about Paltu? Currently, what does Paltu's childhood self admire the most? All right, so this is the Strength card. They love the discipline that you have. They know that you have, like, a lot of fire within you, and before, I feel like you could have been really sensitive. As a child, you could have been very passionate, like not able to control your anger, not able to control, like, the feelings within you, and you wanted to just unleash it, okay? And that could have gotten you hurt a lot as a child, like when you went crazy, when you threw tantrums, when you just screamed and yelled because you didn't know how to necessarily control those emotions. And it's like, instead of suppressing those emotions, instead of beating up that lion within you, you nurture it. You say, it's okay, you can calm down. You don't necessarily hold back those emotions, like you cater to it, and you give it what it needs. Like, I feel like it's like a lot of pain there from your childhood self, where it's like you're not afraid to express that anger, you're not afraid of yourself, and you have a lot of justified anger, but you were able to justify your anger as an adult now, and you're able to truly nurture the parts of you that could have been severely neglected as a child. You're like, and I feel like this has like a lot to do with your passion, and you're able to turn your passion into compassion. Okay, so I feel like y'all are deep, intense people. Like, y'all are very passionate individuals, and the adults in your life could have shamed you for it, because of the way that you were expressing that passion could have been like problematic in some way to your upbringing. And it's like, instead of them showing you positive outlets or good outlets to express that passion, they told you that you should not feel that way at all. So as an adult, you were able to basically raise yourself into like learning like more healthier versions, and like do what the adults around you could not do, which is teach you how to be compassionate for yourself, right? Instead of like just neglect yourself. So your childhood self loves that. Like, they love how, like, you don't feel the same. Like, as a child, you could have been very angry inside, and you could have felt like you had to hold it in. But as an adult, you don't feel that way no more. Like, because you truly know how to channel that energy now. You truly know how to have more compassion with yourself now. And your childhood self loves that about you. They're like, man, like, we're not mad no more. We're not angry no more. We're not expressing ourselves that way no more. Like, you're able to really, truly keep your composure without feeling like ashamed of your intense feelings, and without feeling like you need to suppress who you really are, right? So your childhood self loves that about you. Like, they love how, like, you have, I guess you could say, like, discipline, but it's like not like a discipline like you needed to change yourself. You just needed to possibly change your perspective, okay? Because these were not things that were handed down to you. These are things that you're self-taught. You have to teach yourself these things, okay? So something that your childhood self loves about you is like, you're not afraid to be a lone ranger. You're not afraid to, you're very mysterious. First of all, it's something about you that's very edgy. The way that you do your hair, you could have like a shortcut. You could wear like waves or something with it. They like how you do your makeup. They like your lashes. They love like your lipstick, lip gloss, whatever it is that you do. Like especially if like you're like into like witchcraft, or you just different, like you're just super edgy with it. They love that. Okay, you could have Scorpio in your chart or something about 12th house energy, but they just love how like you're different. You're not afraid to go against the grain. Like you're not afraid to truly like just express yourself flamboyantly, although like other people may not understand it. It's also something about your nails, like however it is that you may do your nails, they love that. They're just like, wow, like you're so cool, like you're so dark, like you're so edgy. Basically, they love that. But they also love like, I don't know if y'all like talk to the dead, if y'all are like mediums or psychics, or you just deal with like occult knowledge and stuff like that, but they really like that. A lot of something about your lifestyle that's kind of like taboo. They think that that's freaking awesome. They think that that's like the coolest thing about you. The fact that you're not afraid to dabble in like taboo subjects, you're not fearful of it or nothing like that. And also like the shadow work that you've done for yourself. I don't know if you would consider yourself like a dark feminine or whatever it may be, but you might like just you've experienced, like you've done a lot of shadow work for yourself, and you've addressed a lot of like demons inside of you. And I feel like you talk to spirits, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, like someone talks to spirits, someone like deals with things that people are usually afraid to deal with in their everyday life. Okay, so that is something that your childhood self truly admires about y'all. Right, so thank you so much for coming this far. We actually hope those messages resonated for you, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Hi, Pal 3. If you chose this photo right here, this section of the video is for you. And we want to know, what would Pal 3's childhood self admire the most and love the most about Pal 3 current self? Okay, we have the Fool card. As a child, you could have grown up a little fast. You could have been taught to fear a lot of things. We have the Elder of Plants. So yeah, you could definitely have more money. Your childhood self really likes that. Okay, they love your faith. I hear this is gonna sound so weird. I hear faith in mankind. I don't know. As a child, you could have been singled out a lot. You could have been like different, like a weirdo. You could have been bullied, and it could have really led you to truly hate people. It could have really led you to just like hate people, hate how like you were not accepted, or you never fit in, and you were teased for like who you were, and seen as like a weirdo, and like made to have like a lot of shame about yourself. Your childhood self loves how you're just like, if you don't accept me, I don't care. You know, like, you know, before that could have really like affected you as a child, but now you're like, not like you don't really care anymore. But it could also be like this person, your childhood self really appreciates the faith that you have in God. I hear Jesus. Some of y'all could be followers of Christ. Some of y'all can just be super spiritual, super into God, super into religion in general. Your childhood self loves that about you. They love how you have truly poured a lot of your love into your faith. And not only that, but you could be a teacher of sorts. You could be like some sort of broadcaster of like a preacher, or like a tarot card reader, or you know, something along those lines. Or you could teach people, or you project your voice, like you speak of God, right? So I feel like as a child, you had a lot of mystical experiences. You had times where like angels approached you, or you had signs from angels, or you had like conversations with God or something like that, and you kept it a secret, or you didn't necessarily have the platform to tell people that you were having these conversations. And like now that you're an adult, like you've been able to build like that platform for yourself and express that you are able to talk to angels, and you do have like that connection with God and stuff like that. So yeah, this is really cool. So your inner child really admires that you're psychic, basically. And it's like your inner child knows that you're psychic, but they didn't know like the word for it. And they love that that's something that you truly cultivated. They love that you have really narrowed into like your spiritual self and aided, like possibly like turned it into a career. Like your spirituality turned your spirituality into a career that you make money from. All right, so that is something that's like first and foremost, your inner child wanted to let me know that off the bat, that they think that that's so cool. They love that about you, and they just love that. Okay, and they love how it's like the same thing that you were teased over, the same things that were kind of like not your fault, out of your control, that you were just like literally just being yourself about. Now it's like it's an energy shift where it's like those are the things that are cool now. So like you could have always been into tarot cards. You could have been into tarot cards since a child. You could have been into spirituality since a child, but not necessarily know like all of what you know today, obviously. So it's like they're like, you made it into something that's cool, you know, like they're like, damn, like before I was getting teased for, I'm like being teased for all this stuff, and now it's like cool, like now people want to be like me, damn near, you know, like now people wish that they cultivated the same things that I worked on in my life, you know. And they really love how you stand in your power. They really love how you have financial stability. I'm getting that. And they just overall just love like how you were able to grow your garden and truly not allow like you're weird or you're different, you know. And it's like, can't nobody strip you of that. And it's like you own it. Like instead of joining the bandwagon of like denouncing who you were as a person, like how everybody else like tried to tease you, like you could have easily joined their bandwagon and said like, yeah, you're right, like that is weird of me, and you could have easily allowed the world to change you, but instead you stood on business. Okay, like they love how like you stood on business that, yeah, I am weird, and you turned it into something good for yourself, and you aided that weirdness and that uniqueness, and you turned it into something stable. Okay, so like your inner child like loves that for you. Like they love that you held on to like that awkwardness and that quirkiness about you instead of letting it go, instead of changing and letting the naysayers change you. Okay, and there's also something about you that is still like probably like a little childish, that's still like a little silly. Your inner child loves how like you're really funny, and you don't hold back either. Like you don't mind, like you like being funny, you like being childish, you like being silly, goofy, you like making people laugh, and like you still currently embody that. Like you could have always been like that, and your inner child loves how like you don't let people tell you that you're childish, although you might be a fully grown adult. Like you don't care, you know. Like your inner child just really admires that. They're like, yeah, man, like life is short, why not? Okay. So funny enough, okay, your inner child, whatever heartbreak you could have experienced, this is gonna sound crazy, okay, y'all, but whatever heartbreak you could have experienced in your life, your inner child likes that has happened to you, because like you could have been like a late bloomer, and you could have had 3 or more relationships in your life that kind of went sour, that was like very hurtful. Obviously, like nobody wants to experience like hurtful things, but what these relationships did, it allowed you to really be comfortable in who you are as a person, in your sexuality. It allowed you to explore in your sexuality and like your true self, and to like break away from like conformity. So your inner child loves that like you have these experiences under your belt. Like although you might reminisce on past relationships, maybe even friendships, and be like, oh, I can't, like, you know, maybe it's like a little bit bitter, but like from your childhood perspective, you're like, oh my gosh, like you dated this person, or you dated like that person, like you know how to pull them, or like, you know what I mean, like, or like from your inner child, like they think that you're pretty cool for the sort of different people you were able to attract. Okay, like I know this could sound crazy, but it's like they almost like can't even believe that, like, especially if you were like a nerd, or you were like possibly like an ugly duckling growing up or something like that. Like they love that like you were able to attract so many like different people who were like attracted to you. You know what I mean? And they nearly like can't even believe, like they're just happy that you experienced those things. Like, I know that's gonna sound so weird and you're like, oh, what? But no, for real, like your inner child like thinks that you're so cool for that. Like, they love that you have like those experiences under your belt. And they do feel like it just adds like so much to your value that you allowed yourself to experience things, hardships, heartbreaks or not. You still like allowed yourself to have those experiences and experience life and get to know yourself. Like, you didn't like cage yourself in and things like that. Okay, so y'all can have like a lot of experiences, or just enough experiences to where your childhood self thinks that that's so cool, because like you were probably very sheltered as a child and you really got to go out there and explore the world. All right, so heartbreak or not, whether you got your heart broken, whether you was dead, dirty, betrayed, whatever it may be, your inner child doesn't care. They're just happy that you got to learn as you went on in life. Okay, so that's what I got for you, Pal 3. Thank you so much for coming this far with me. I truly hope that resonated for you, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.